Hello students, we are discussing the chapter number 3, that is accounting principles, and some of the accounting principles we have already discussed in online class, that is going on concept, consistency concept, accrual concept, business entity concept, and money measurement concept. So these 5 concepts we have already discussed. Now we are going to discuss the sixth one, that is accounting period concept. This concept implies that as we know that as per the going on concern concept, the life of the business is indefinite, but this life of the business is divided into small parts of 1 year each, and every such part is called accounting year, accounting period. So after every 1 year, the accounts for the business are to be maintained. As the business is intended to continue indefinitely for a long period, the true results of the business operations can be ascertained only when the business is completely wound up. But ascertainment of profit after very long period will be of little use to the properties managers, investors, and others, because it will be too late to take corrective steps at that time. The users of the financial statements need to know the results of business at frequent intervals. Thus, the entire life of the firm is divided into time intervals for the measurement of profits of the business. 12 months period is usually adopted for this purpose. According to the amended income tax law, a business has compulsorily to adopt financial year beginning from 1st April and ending on 31st March in the next calendar year rather, as its accounting period. Apart from this, companies whose shares are listed on the stock exchange are required to publish quarterly results to depict the profitability and financial position at the end of 3 months period. So this was about the accounting period concept. In simple words, we can say accounting period concept implies that the whole life of the business is divided into small parts of 1 year each, so that, and for this 1 year each part, every this small part, the profit or loss is calculated. So for the purpose of calculating profit or loss of the business, accounting the life of the business is divided into small 1 year divided into small parts of 1 year each. Next concept is cost concept. Or historical cost concept. As per this concept, the assets should be shown in the books of account as per their acquiring price, as per their cost price, as per their purchase price. So let us discuss this concept. According to this concept, an asset is ordinarily recorded in the books of accounts at the price at which it was acquired. This cost becomes the basis of all the subsequent accounting for the assets. Since the acquisition cost related to the past, it is referred to as historical cost. This cost is the basis of valuation of assets in the financial statements. For example, if the business entity purchased a building for rupees 2 lakhs, it would be recorded in the books at this figure. Subsequently, increase or decrease in the market value of the building would not be recorded in the books of accounts. If 2 years later, the market value of the building will be 6 lakhs. The increased value will not be recorded in the books of accounts. Only the cost at which it was acquired, at which it was purchased, that is to be shown in the books of account. The justification behind it is this cost is the objectively verifiable because the cost recorded in the books is derived from an actual transaction and is not the arbitrarily determined. It is justified by the going concern concept, which assumes that the enterprise will continue its activity indefinitely and thus there is no need of using the current values or liquidation values. Market value or the current value of the assets are difficult to be determined. The value by one expert will not be same as that of another. Market value of the asset may change from time to time and it will be extremely difficult to keep track of up and down of the market price. So this was about the cost concept. Now let us discuss the next concept, that is dual aspect concept. Dual aspect concept. As per this concept, every transaction has dual aspect. One is debit and another one is credit. If as per this concept, if the one person purchases something, on the one hand he gains something and on the another hand he has to lose something. According to this concept, every debit has the corresponding credit and every credit has the corresponding debit. According to this concept, every business transaction is recorded as having a dual aspect. In other words, every transaction affects at least two accounts. If one account is debited, any other account must be credited. The system of recording transactions based on this principle is called as double entry system. It is because of this concept that the two sides of the balance sheet are always equal and the following accounting equation will always hold good at any point of time. That is, all assets are equal to liabilities plus capital, or capital is equal to assets minus liabilities. Whenever a transaction is recorded, it has to be recorded in two or more accounts to balance the equation. If a transaction affects the one side of the equation, it will also affect the another side of the equation, or increase or one account and decrease another account on the same side of the equation. Equation remains balanced whenever a transaction takes place. So this was about the dual aspect concept. Now we will discuss the next concept, that is revenue recognition concept. Revenue recognition concept. This concept implies that revenue of a particular period is to be recognized when the legal right for this is to be arised. Revenue means the amount which is added to the capital as a result of business operation. Revenue is earned by sale of goods or by providing a service. Concept of revenue recognition determines the time or the particular period in which the revenue is realized. Revenue is deemed to be realized when the title or the ownership of goods has been transferred to the purchaser and when he has legally become liable to pay the amount. It should be remembered that revenue recognition is not related with the receipt of cash. Cash may be received or paid later on. For example, if firm gets an order of goods on 1st January, supplies the goods on 20th January, and receives the cash on 1st April next year, the revenue will be deemed to have been earned on 20th January when the ownership of goods was transferred to the purchaser. So revenues in case of incomes such as rent, interest, commission is recognized on a time basis. For example, rent for the month of March 2015, even if received in April 2015, will be treated as a revenue of financial year ending on 31st March 2015. Similarly, if the commission for 2015 April month is received in advance in the March 2015, it will be treated as the revenue of the financial year commencing and 2015 April 2015 and ending on March 2016. So, but there are some exceptions. There are some exceptions to this case. That is, in case of sales of installment basis, the amount collected in the installment is treated as realized. Then, in case of long-term construction projects, it is difficult to postpone the revenue till the completion of the full contract. In such cases, that the proportionate part of the revenue, which is equal to the part of contract completed by the end of the year, is recognized as realized. And in case of mining, revenue is recognized in the accounting period when the production is made, even through a sale has not been made. So in this video we have discussed 4 concepts, that is accounting period concept, cost concept or historical cost concept, dual aspect concept, and revenue recognition concept. So other concepts we will discuss in the next video. Okay, till then, bye students.